you think of champagne, you think of celebration, and today we're celebrating Ace, the brand new Conrad C144S here in Poland. But we're not just celebrating a yacht, we're celebrating so much more. We're celebrating the delivery of a dream, we're celebrating the workers and the countless hours that have gone into constructing the yacht, we're celebrating the history of Conrad Shipyard and all the heritage you find here in Gdańsk, Poland. I'm Alex Clarke, and I'm lucky enough to sell yachts for a living, and today I'm coming to you from the coldest place on the planet, Gdańsk, Poland. So obviously, with it being the dead of winter, this is not going to be your traditional walkthrough like we touched on before. So you're not going to see the exterior deck spaces set up as if the boat was in warmer climate. So just please keep that in mind. So Ace is a C144S, which is designed by Reymond Langton with naval architecture by Diana Yacht Design, two of the best names in the industry. So the pedigree on board is extremely high. So here in the main salon is going to be, again, your main lounge area. You've got excellent headroom, 2.15 meters, floor to ceiling windows, which I think are fantastic, so a lot of natural light, and then it easily flows forward to the main foyer and the pantry to the left. Continuing forward from the main salon to the starboard side, you're going to have your main foyer, central staircase that connects the sky lounge with the guest accommodations, and also your day head. The entire forward section of the main deck is dedicated to the owner. Here we are in the owner's office, then you have the living accommodations, and then the ensuite. I absolutely love the flow of the master's suite. So here we are in the living accommodations. Again, that excellent headroom that you have, very zen-like feeling with the neutral colors. A lot of natural light from the windows. Then again, you have his office and then the ensuite forward. So everything flows together really, really nicely. Love the minimalistic feel that you're going to find in all the bathrooms on board, especially here in the master. All white marbles, little hints of accent of gold and bronze throughout the veins to the marble. Little touches like that that really set this apart from other builds. Before I show you the guest accommodations, we're going to backtrack a little bit and I'm going to show you the galley and the crew spaces. So here we are in the galley. First thing you notice, a lot of natural light from the large window, Miele professional grade appliances, really well laid out commercial grade galley. So located directly outside the galley are some of the most important spaces on board the boat. So you have a central staircase for the crew that allows them to flow seamlessly from deck to deck. You also have a stewardess pantry located on each level, which is essential for long passages. So this crew space, or the stewardess pantry as we call it, connects the main salon and the crew accommodations, which we're going to show you now. So we're now entering the crew accommodations, which rival some of those that you're going to find on a 50 or 55 meter. So excellent spaces down here for the crew. You've got 4 cabins behind you, each doubles. You have a beautiful crew mess, laundry and pantry area, extremely well laid out. So behind me are 4 identical cabins, each doubles, each with an ensuite. Again, I'm going to show you some of the fit and finish we see here, which is excellent, and there's a ton of storage, super comfortable spaces for the crew. So here I am in one of the crew cabins. As you can see, super spacious. You got that same headroom here. You got 2 bunks. They've been thoughtful enough to actually have a blind for when you're sleeping. You know, easy access to the upper bunk. You got a desk space, hanging lockers and drawers, and then you have your private ensuite for each cabin. Perhaps the most crucial step in building something as intricate as Ace comes when you assemble the team to pull it off, which I've touched on before in this video. First, you have to give credit to Mikola Kroll of Conrad Shipyard, who was the catalyst in bringing together some of the best names in the yachting industry. You have Reymond Langton, responsible for the design of the vessel. You have Diana Yacht Design, responsible for the naval architecture, and M2 Atelier behind the beautiful interior decor. So here we are heading down to the guest accommodations. We've got 4 cabins down here, all of which are en-suites. So I'm currently in the port forward VIP. It's identical to the starboard cabin, both of which have king berths, large walk-in en-suites. And one of the things I want to point out also is that headroom, right? You've got 2.15 meters of headroom, even here on the lower deck. A lot of natural light from the large portholes that we have behind us. This also continues into the ensuite. And again, you've got that beautiful white marble you're going to find in all the heads throughout the boat. We're now walking back to the aft two cabins. What I love is the flexibility of these cabins. So in this one, you have the two berths pushed together to form another king-size bed. You can also separate these into two single cabins, which we'll see in the starboard side, which gives great flexibility depending on the type of guest you have on board. So we're obviously heading back up here to the sun deck, and it's obviously bitterly cold right now, and that's not something you typically associate with yachting, right? You think of it as a warm weather business, but in this case, here we are in Gdańsk, Poland. I touched on the heritage a little bit before, and these are some of the major things that played a role in why this owner chose to build a yacht here. You know, when you build a yacht, you have to put together essentially, what I call the dream team. And in this case, you've had the project manager here for over a year. The captain's been here as well. Just talking to the first officer down below, he's been here for a few months, and it's been a super enjoyable location to build a yacht in. You've got the old city behind me. Again, you've got that heritage. The craftsmanship that you find at Conrad is something you're not going to find at some of these other shipyards. You've got generational carpentry, right? You've got metalwork that's all done in-house. I think little details like that show in the quality of the final product is super important for an owner to decide where he wants to build a yacht. And something special like this just doesn't happen overnight. You have to put together that team, and this owner did exactly that. And Conrad Shipyard was the catalyst to make everything happen. So as mentioned, not your traditional walkthrough. We're in the dead of winter, so you don't have your exterior cushions set up. I've got snow at the base of my feet right now, but you got a big lounge area here. You have one of two dining areas on board the boat is up here on the sun deck. If you might have noticed in the main salon, there is no formal dining. That's going to be below me on the upper deck as well. So here we are, Poland in the winter. So heading forward towards the bow of the sun deck, you have what I would consider one of the most epic jacuzzis or pools that I've seen on a boat of this size. Sunken jacuzzi, at least 8 people are sitting in there. The other highlight is you've got a full operation bar here. You've got, 6 bar stools, full service bar. Overall, just a fantastic space. Another key element of the exterior deck space is 2.4 meter height on all the decks. Again, I mentioned the interior 2.15, so those are huge heights. Really makes the boat feel a lot bigger than it is at 44 meters. So one of my favorite design elements on board the boat happens to be the mast. So it's both form and function, kind of goes to that modern plumb bow you see with the boat, the sleek lines that you have on board, but absolutely love the black mast, super modern, ties the whole boat together. So coming down from the sun deck, we're now in the aft section of the upper deck. And here we have our formal dining. I mentioned before in the main salon, there is not a formal dining table. So this is where you're gonna do most of your dining. You have excellent counter space for family style service. And behind me, you've got this great sitting area, probably destined to be one of the favorite spots on board when underway. And I mentioned before about, Gdańsk and the maritime history here. So the river that comes in from the Baltic, you get all sorts of activity coming in. I mean, this is pretty epic right here. So transitioning from the aft deck, here we are in the Sky Lounge. Definitely one of the most common places to relax on board. Love the inviting couches. You can imagine watching a movie, reading a book. To me, this is one of my favorite spaces on board the boat. I absolutely love it. As I mentioned before, Ace is hull number 1 in the C144S series by Conrad Shipyard. So I'm lucky enough to be involved in selling hull number 2 with Jim Evans from Superyacht Monaco, who's been absolutely instrumental in putting together the build team on that project. So there's so much more that goes into just seeing the finishing product here, right? You get together the build team, you negotiate the contract, the technical specifications. Jim Evans, to me, helped us push number 2 across the table. Super excited to see how that comes together. It's going to be a little bit different than this, very similar, but again, it's going to be uniquely its own for that individual client. Continuing forward from the Sky Lounge, on the outboard side, you're going to have another day head. On the inboard side is that stew pantry I mentioned that flows up from the main deck, your central staircase, and then behind me, the wheelhouse. So here we are in the wheelhouse, or the command center of the yacht. Absolutely awesome wheelhouse. So you've got your glass bridge here, you got your vertical windows with great visibility, access to both starboard and port where you have your wing stations. And then behind you, what we'll look at in a few minutes is one of the better captain's cabins I've ever seen on a sub 50 meter yacht. So located directly off the wheelhouse to the port side is the captain's cabin. Absolutely awesome setup, very roomy ensuite, big shower, queen size berth that easily sleeps 2. Very impressed with the layout here. All right, so here we are on the bow of the boat. A lot of excellent space here. You've got a plumb bow that you can see by design. But where I'm standing right now is one of 4 main gathering spaces on the exterior of the boat. You can just imagine huge sun pads here, nice little sitting area, underway, wind in the face, really enjoying your place on board. So the bow area is complemented by 4 carbon fiber poles that add sunshades to the entire space. You're also going to find similar setups on all of the main aft deck areas. All the way forward, you have your rescue tender, which is required by class. You've got your ground tackle here. You have your chain locker. So a lot of excellent space here, especially with that plumb bow that I mentioned before in the design. In this industry, we call it white glove service. This is the key difference between life on board a yacht versus being locked on land. Every detail has to be thought of in advance. The most gifted in this level of service leave nothing to chance because the experience is all that matters. Coming from a crew background myself, I know exactly how much detail and time and effort goes into delivering a boat of this magnitude. It's not easy and it takes experience. So here we are coming down to the aft deck, and one of the most popular and favorite locations on the boat, right? Easy access to the ocean. And here you have a great table, wraparound sitting areas, having a cocktail, having a meal, full wet bar behind me, excellent headroom, fantastic space. So here we are now in the engine room, or the heart of the vessel, right? So excellent engine room, proper Northern European yard quality here. When I say Northern European, they typically have the reputation of being some of the best build pedigree in the world, and Conrad Shipyard is exactly that right now. So I'm super impressed with just the ease of access to all the major machinery here, the way that the gauges are laid out, the manifolds, very thoughtful storage, work areas here for the engineer. I mean, if you look around, the way that everything's positioned and placed, it's on purpose. You've got your Alpha Laval, which is a fuel centrifuge here for fuel polishing. Over here, you have your Dometic air conditioning system. You have AC shore power converters, which allows you to plug into shore power anywhere in the world. You've got your Caterpillar engines, Caterpillar generators. Again, product that you can service anywhere in the world. This is a global cruiser. It does have a 4,000 nautical mile range. Very fuel efficient boat, and the boat's meant to run consistently for long ranges. Facing the other direction now, behind me, you'll notice that there's the engineer's control center. That gives him full visibility of the engine room. Also gives him access to all the major systems here. So again, high quality build. She's built to MCA LY3 build qualities, which is some of the best in the world, and it really shows in the engineering of the vessel. Here we are in the garage, 6.5 meter custom Castoli tender, 2 full-size jet skis, a lot of storage, great headroom. So this is where your fishing gear, your dive gear, all your water sports toys are gonna go. You've got the tender garage door next to me here. That's gonna open to the port side of the boat, allow you to retrieve or to launch all your toys with ease. So aft of the garage here, on the outboard side, both the starboard and port, you're gonna have more machine spaces and technical spaces. And centerline though, you're gonna have your beach club. So this is where you have your storage of all your sea bobs, your snorkel gear, your wetsuits, all the stuff that guests are gonna wanna grab and just jump into the water. So here we are in what I would call the beach club, right? So we've got storage for your wetsuits, your life jackets, you've got your custom Ace sea bobs. You've got some of these lockers here. You can just imagine this packed with snorkel gear and masks and fins, all finished in a really beautiful teak. So love the space. So you can imagine the guests coming down these steps, grabbing whatever they want to do, jump back in the water, just have a blast. So why did I just travel halfway around the world? It wasn't just to showcase to you Ace or to attend a christening. It was more importantly to showcase to you the people behind the scenes, the people at Conrad Shipyard, those people that put their heart and soul into putting this product together. I'm blessed to have that team behind me. I'm also blessed to have Jim Evans at Superyachts Monaco, who again sold number 2 with me, which is going to be delivered by 2023. We also have hull number 3 offered for sale between the both of us. So if you're interested in learning more, please let us know. We'll send you more information. For the owner of Ace, congratulations on an absolutely epic boat. Godspeed on your journeys, and I hope you put it to use traveling the world with you and your family.